friends, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Kiki and today's video is going to be a first time fantasy book recommendation video, or if you have read A Court of Thorns and Roses and you don't know where to go next in the fantasy genre, this video is for you. If you like this video, please don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And I'm just going to get straight into it and share my top 4 recommendations. If you are wanting to dive into the fantasy world for the first time, my top recommendation would be the A Court of Thorns and Roses series by Sarah J. Maas. I know this is a highly popular series. There is a huge fandom out there for it, but it is probably one of the easier fantasy worlds to comprehend and to get into for a first time reader. The first book can be a little bit slow, but the world building is very easy to understand. The character development is there, and it's just a great introduction to the fantasy world. So if you are new to fantasy and haven't read a fantasy book yet, A Court of Thorns and Roses is the book for you. If you have read A Court of Thorns and Roses and you are new to the fantasy genre and you don't know where to go next, my first recommendation would be These Hollow Vows by Lexi. I would say this would be your next easy fantasy read. This is a Cinderella retelling at the beginning, but it also has a lot of your A Court of Thorns and Roses vibes in here. We do have a love triangle, but it's a really easy one to follow. It's not one of those love triangles that you just cannot stand reading about. We do have your morally grey character in here. You have your good guy that you think that you should love. You have our female main character that is badass. This book is a duology. This will be your second book here, These Twisted Bonds. Both books are amazing. This book does leave on a cliffhanger, so I highly suggest getting the second book ready to go when you read the first book. I do believe this is Lexi Ryan's first fantasy book that she wrote as well. From my knowledge, she's actually a romance author, so this is her first time diving into the fantasy world as well, and she did an amazing job. My second recommendation would be The High Mountain Court by A.K. Mulford. This one also has The Witch's Blade as book 2 and The Rogue Crown as book 3. There is a 4th book coming out, I believe. I have not read this one yet. I'm a bit behind in my series. I did, however, thoroughly enjoy these 2 books. So The High Mountain Court, 19-year-old Remy is the last Red Witch alive, and she is determined to stay that way, but the Northern Court King, who slaughtered her family, has other plans. He will hunt her kind until none remain. So she stays hidden, unexceptional, unremarkable, unnoticed until the day a Fey warrior walks into her tavern and sees she is anything but. Her magic isn't strong enough to thwart Prince Hale of the Eastern Kingdom. The Northern Court has turned its gaze to his realm and blood will soon follow. His final hope is a Red Witch, and Remy is the only one left. So you have your Fae, you have your witches, you have your political drama in this. It has all these different courts, very similar to A Court of Thorns and Roses as well. Again, it's its own book. It's very easy to follow. It's not an overly big one for a fantasy read either, so the world building isn't too hard to take on. I know in a lot of fantasy books, especially high fantasy books like Crescent City and From Blood and Ash, the info dumping, the world building can be so hard to keep up with that a lot of people stop reading these books because of that. So if you are a first time fantasy reader, I do highly recommend this series as well. My next series that I do recommend for fantasy readers would be The Prison Healer. This book is a trilogy, so you've got The Prison Healer, you've got The Gilded Cage as book 2, and then you have The Blood Trader as book 3. This is an exceptionally easy series to follow as well. Super light read, but super fun as well. So this book follows Kiva, who is in a prison, and this book also has magic in it. It has your political drama as well. A lot of fantasy books will have political drama in it, but that's what keeps it fun and exciting. This series is amazing. We've got kings, queens, traitors, people who are hiding power, people who are hiding the rebel queen, It's a lot going on in here. These do finish in a cliffhanger, so I definitely recommend getting all 3 books and diving in and binging this series. It is amazing. I absolutely loved it. I love the character development in this one across all 3 books. I love the characters that were introduced later into the series. It's just a really fun world to be in. The last book that I recommend would be The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle L. Jensen. I love this book. The Traitor Queen is book 2 to book 1. We then do have a spin-off after this. These books kept me up. This book here kept me up until 3 a.m. because I could not put it down and I had to finish it. It had me in an absolute chokehold. I loved this world so much. Lara has only one thought for her husband on their wedding day. I will bring your kingdom to its knees. A princess trained from childhood to be a lethal spy, Lara knows that the Bridge Kingdom represents both legendary evil and legendary promise. The Bridge Kingdom controls all trade and travel between lands, allowing its ruler to enrich himself and deprive his enemies, including Lara's homeland. So when she is sent as a bride under the guise of fulfilling a treaty of peace, Lara is prepared to do whatever it takes to fracture the defenses of the Bridge Kingdom. So this book, again, full of politics, full of lies, full of spies, full of schemes. You have heavy romance in this. I wouldn't say it's super spicy, but the connection between the female main character and the male main character is really spot on, and I loved it a lot. The side characters are great. The world is amazing. It's just one of those books that was just easy to follow as well and to get through. So these are the 4 books that I recommend if you are new to the fantasy genre, or if you have read the Court of Thorns and Roses series and you don't know where to go next. This is where you would go next, in my opinion. I find these books really fun to read. I found them really easy to follow. The character development was spot on. The romance is there. So I highly recommend these 4 books if you're wanting to dive into the fantasy genre. I hope you enjoyed this video, friends. Please don't forget to hit like and subscribe. I really hope you enjoy those books. If you have read any of them, let me know in the comments below if you loved them as well or if you didn't like them. I hope they are great reads for you. I hope you love them, and I'll see you all in the next video.